So welcome back, fellow builders. Another episode of Will's Builds. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you saw that I am doing a set of valve springs today. So what we have here is a pair of 317 heads off the Q4, Q9. These are the aluminum versions of the heads off those engines. The first 2 years of the Q4 and Q9, which was 99 and 2000, they came with the same head, but they were made of iron instead of aluminum. So if you go over to Willy's Customs and Rods, I'll put the link in the description for his Facebook page. That is my dad, and he is putting a 6.0 into a 99 Chevy dually. That's the old body style Chevy dually. Originally it had a 454 in it, but he is putting a 99 6-liter into it, and he's going to put these heads on it. And he's going to do some small stuff like a cam and different intake, probably headers, some stuff like that. But we're gonna set these heads up for him, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna strip it all down. We're gonna pressure wash them clean because these are pretty grimy heads. I don't know how many miles are on them or anything like that, but these are pretty gross heads. Lots of oil on it, and then in the intake here, there's lots of oil in there, and the exhaust and everything. Inside, they're actually pretty clean, though, for how the outside looks. The inside of right here is very clean. So we're going to be removing the valve springs, and we're going to be putting these dual valve springs on them. Now, these are the TIC Performance TP660 kit. It's just a dual valve spring, good for 6.660, so 660 thousandths lift. We got those springs. We got some new spring seats here. These all came in the kit. Spring seats, the dual valve springs, the Brian Tooley tool steel retainers. We decided just to go with these because it's not a race mode or anything. It's just going to be a work truck. But they do have an option for around $80-ish to go with titanium retainers. And then we also got the actual locks for it. Now, a lot of companies like Comp Cams and some other companies out there sell valve spring compressors just for this engine. And for instance, the Comp Cam one bolts right here, and it has just one bolt with a flat plate that kind of looks like a fork that pushes down on two at once. Now, I got this one just because this is a little more universal. I don't only work on LS engines. I work on Subarus and whatever else I can work on. So this kit will be good for a long time, and it's universal. The other reason I like this kit is, while the Comp Cams one is about, some places I've seen it for sales around $100, it is for the LS engine only. And a $100 tool that only works on one engine that you probably won't use that much unless you're specifically an LS builder is kind of a lot of money. So this kit was a little bit less than half the cost and is universal. So it doesn't have a comp name on it, doesn't have any fancy big name brand on it, but it's going to work for our application. Now, because this is a universal kit, all the hardware that comes with it won't necessarily work for every engine. Now, there is bolts that will fit into this head. The thread pitch and everything's correct, but they're just not long enough. I tried doing some stuff like mounting these kind of down like this, mounting it like more at an angle, and you can get it seated nicely and you can get the rod through and everything, but it sits too low for the handle to be able to at the right angle to apply enough pressure. So I just grabbed some bolts out of my bin, and that's all we're going to use. Now I'm not tightening these bolts down. They don't have to be cranked down super tight. They're pretty much just hand tight. So that's it. That's all it takes to install these. Now some other heads, you could put 2 bolts in them on each. It'd be a little more sturdy. But this one doesn't require it. For this head, it works just fine with just 1 bolt on each. So then we just take our rod, slide it through here, just like that. Grab our handle. And this is the actual compressor part. And then in one of the bags, there's these pins. So basically, you line the little half moon up with the rod like that. And then kind of figure out which hole you're going to want to use to slide this little quick release pin through. So we're going to go into the second hole here. And that's it. That's all it takes to set it up. So now you put it back on here, and then all you do is you just pull down on it. So as you can see right in here, once you have the tool all set up, all you have to do is push down till the little locks release, and then you just use your magnet to pull the locks out. And we'll just put them over here in our little case. There we go. And then you just relieve pressure. And there you go, that's it. So now we have our valve spring, our stock retainer, the 2 little clips that you saw, and then the valve seal and spring seat you just have down in the bottom here, and you just grab it with a pair of pliers. We'll just use our safety wire pliers. And that's it. And then that's the spring seat and the valve seal. Now we have new ones of these as well, and that could have potentially been one of the problems with this engine, why it's so grimy in here, because the valve stem seals leaked. It's hard to tell because I bought these heads already removed, so it's unknown exactly where all this oil came from, but we're going to assume that they need to be replaced since our kit comes with them anyway, and we're just going to replace them. So I'm going to remove these other 7, and then we're going to clean up the heads. So now the head is all disassembled, but we still got the valves in. So we're actually going to clean the valves up too. But how we're going to do that is we're going to use this. So we're just going to pull our valves out, and as clean as we can get them. We don't want to be sticking a bunch of dirt and unnecessary stuff into our cleaner. So let's get these out real quick. There we go. So we're just going to let this sit for a bit. And we're going to take these out and we're going to fire up the pressure washer, and we are going to get these heads as clean as we can. So we got the head all cleaned up back here in the garage, and the valves that we just pulled out of the chem dip and wiped them down and everything. We went ahead and just slid those back into the head. Nothing fancy. So next step, the first thing we're going to do to go about reassembling our head is going to be these spring seats. And all we're going to do is just slide them right down over like that. And that'll give these springs a nice solid seat. Now the reason we can't use these ones is because they're bigger at the base and the spring doesn't fit all the way down over this thick part here at the base. So it comes with the new spring seats. So there we go. We got those. There's our first two. Now there's two different color valve seals. There's a black one and a brown one, as you can see here. And the black ones are going to be for the intake valve, which is the bigger valve right here. That comes from the cathedral port side into right here. So this one will go on to here. And the brown one goes on the exhaust. The exhaust port right to the exhaust valve. So I got this tool off Amazon, like 20 bucks from ICT Billet. It is a valve seal installing tool. I don't know if it's universal, but it's labeled specifically for the LS. So we're going to use it on here. And I believe it's just to get a nice firm pressure down on the seal. Nice even pressure. Just like that, without actually damaging the seal. Okay, so now's the fun part. So we got the spring seat in, we got the valve seal in right here, and next is just going to be our dual valve springs, just like that. Now I went ahead and put the compressor back on. Pass the rod through. Okay. Make sure the valve's all the way up. Just like that. Then we got our tool steel retainer and our two locks. And this is just going to be exactly the same way as when we disassembled it. However, it's just going to have a bit more pressure this time because we now have dual valve springs that applies more pressure, which is kind of the point of doing all this. So here we go, push down. Just go ahead and drop. There we go, we got the first lock down in there. I'm going to take the glove off. Oops. Boom, just like that. And there we go. That's it. So now we just got 15 more to go. There you have it, guys. That is everything that you need to do to swap out your stock single spring valve springs to a nice set of dual valve springs that in this application are way overkill for what he's going to be doing with the truck, but it should last a long time. So once again, go over to my dad's Facebook page, give it a like, check out what he's doing over there with his dually. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy these type of videos, let me know. I'm hoping to get into more of these type of videos where I show you guys actually me doing stuff and how to do stuff, and just more than me just talking, me actually working. So thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on building.